Pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. These harmful materials are called pollutants. Pollutants can be natural, such as volcanic ash. They can also be created by human activities, such as trash runoff or runoff produced by factories, or nuclear weapons, or normal weapons with depleted isotopes. Pollutants damage the quality of air, water, and land. People ask, how can we stop pollution? What is the definition of pollution? Why is air pollution bad? How does pollution affect your health? The major kinds of pollution, usually classified by an environment, are air pollution, water pollution, and land pollution. Modern society is also ... AirNow is your one-stop source for air quality data. Our recently redesigned site highlights air quality in your local area. Major forms of pollution include air, light, litter, noise, plastic pollution, soil contamination, radioactive contamination. Pollutants are major public health concerns, including particulate matter, carbon monoxide, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. Outdoor and indoor air, ... Air pollution in your health is intricately linked with climate change. Air pollution is one of the world's largest health and environmental problems. Causes of pollution. Pollution stunts economic growth, exacerbates poverty and inequality in both urban and rural areas, and significantly contributes to climate change. Poor people, ... Air pollution data portal of the WHO. European Environment Agency pollution can harm human health and the environment. People also search for 4 types of pollution. Well, I would argue there's even more types of pollution. It's like using the word evolution. It's a useful word. To me, it's a change over time, whether an improvement or not. But that's not the definition in other rooms, in other conversations, in other places. Pollution, facts, causes, and the effects of pollutants in the air. Learn about pollution. How do you learn about pollution? You could study biological uptake, biological half-lives, the chemistry, and how these things travel in your body. Some of it we learned because of tracing nuclear materials in the natural environment, which includes humans. We can see and detect these materials. The lead in fish isn't just lead from anthropomorphic activities, or well, the anthropomorphic is us. So these are hard facts of our life on this globe. A pollutant in one state can travel to another state. It can travel through the air. That's the most common conversation. It can travel through the water. Aquifers were traced using trace elements. Some of this methodology in the early 80s discovered there was an aquifer that transferred water from the Hanford region over into the eastern side of the state. Underground, underwater. Can't be seen. Can be drank though. Can get sucked up 100 miles away. But the argument for dilution comes in, and risks and probabilities. This is not something easy to understand. You have to go for specific types of polluters. The tests, the measurements, the devices we used are tuned to very specific things. There's no such thing as one instrument measures them all, because there are rules. Science created these rules. They're called procedures, typically, on how to do something properly. And you're tracked to those procedures. And if you don't follow them, you can lose funding or your job or whatever else. So understanding pollution is important, and I don't understand that. Well, it's never going to get more talked about with the other types of pollution that are out there. Our media is a form of pollution. Right now, the Supreme Court is deciding another case if the federal government has the right to regulate interstate pollution. Why is that even a question? The question should be around the science that's guiding these decisions, and how sound is it? How meaningful is it? Running into statistics in the parts per thousands, parts per millions, parts per billions, it gets complicated quickly, because this is a globe we're on. That word globe had an ism on there, and it's globalism. Well, guess what? That's how this planet and humanity on it works. It's a few days after the anniversary of Fukushima. It will be decades before the site is considered cleaned up. Decades of leaching into the soil and into the air and dumping tritiated water out into the Pacific Ocean. But there was some science behind it. There was measures and thoughts and prayers. And that's hard to understand. There is a lack of understanding on how big systems work. Huge systems, global systems. A mine in South America supplied necessary materials for our war efforts. You can go find and learn out about those, and about how we abused peoples and nations in order to harvest from their earth. But it's a globe, and we got ships and planes and trains and trolleys. So what do you do about pollution? That's a really good question. The biggest thing we can do is vote for people that care, that understand or try to understand. Or even better, vote for people that respect the other institutions we've created, like the medical institutions that surround us. From pharmacies to doctors to hospitals to urgent care centers. That's all part of a massive institution. NRC is an institution. Don't like them much. I feel they're pretty well bought, and they're a victim of money. It takes millions and billions of dollars for these projects. If you follow Hanford, you'll know about the billions. And a new contract going out with bunches of zeros, 9 zeros. It's a lot of zeros. So here we are. Pollution. Fukushima, still boiling water in the background. Still polluting the seabeds and the oceans. Leaking out of the containment area. But it's a minor leak, right? Or is it? Do we know what the leak is? What's the percent of leak? The design was supposed to be near 100% of no leaks. At one point, I think it was 60%. So here we are. It is hard to put the stories together because there's so many of them, and they are interrelated. What biological, medical studies have done have taught us about how many of these things work. Endocrine disruptors. There are classes of chemicals that someone was studying their effects on with frogs. And then some frog bullshit memes came out, and that was lost. The work that was being done underneath that to endocrine disruptors. Now, what do endocrine disruptors matter? I gave you 100 miles of homework in this one if you don't know how many different ways we can and do pollute, and that we need massive organizations to control this because the money is winning. So I guess the best answer is to vote. vote for or vote against something. It is local. And as my friends in this battle know, many of us have tried that and retired from it. So, hey, peace is out again. Love and hope. Plan to vote.